It's brutal to watch.
Speedster.
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 8 of the Avenger League fantasy football season. Another exciting week. Not a ton of movement in the standings from last week. In fact, the only movement was Cameron and Andrew swapped second and third place. So that's fun and interesting. Teams are supposed to win one. Teams that were supposed to lose for the most part lost. So your standings, if you don't remember from last week, we go Raleigh, Cameron, Andrew, myself, Wade, Tim, Charlie, Ashley, John, and then Trevor rounding out 10th place. And actually, I'm over here looking at the just the schedule for this week, and there's only one game between teams with a winning record. So just a preview. I'm not going to get into the games yet, but I play Charlie, obviously 5-2 against 2-5. Ashley is playing Cameron, so second place versus 8th place. Trevor playing Wade, which I feel like maybe the most sneaky of all those games. And then John plays Raleigh. The only game between two teams with a winning record is probably going to be the most fun game of the week as far as just a trash talk standpoint goes, because for whatever reason Tim decided to hate Andrew. I guess it's not for whatever reason. They play in the championship game, but we do have a rematch. So definitely the game of the week there. But just something interesting to point out up front, that this could either be the week where a lot of teams get back into the race, or a week where 4 of them just basically finally completely get eliminated. Obviously talking about Charlie, Ashley, John, and Trevor. Anyway, let's go look at some of the waivers, what we had, transactions going on. I hate this fucking menu on the computer. It looks like shit. So Trevor used his top waiver priority to take care of his kicker problem, adding Dustin Hopkins. Probably good there. John adding Rashee Rice. Somehow Kareem Hunt, who now is probably the starter in Cleveland, making it all the way back to Tim, who lost the starter in Cleveland, and Jerome Ford. We got Wade picking up a defense. Great. I got my kicker Brandon Aubrey back. Raleigh finally fixes tight end problem, snags Dalton Kincaid. John goes back to the well with Kirk Cousins, and then Tim comes back with Zeke Elliott and Dalton Schultz. I snagged Hunter Henry because TJ Hawkinson didn't practice today, and then Kendrick Bourne going to Cameron. Good Cameron, good for you, man. So yeah, that's all that happened this week. Without actually talking about any of the players and all the injuries that are piling up, but we'll get to those during the games. Because right now we got a wheel to spin. Last week obviously was the longest winning streak, which Raleigh, he got. Congratulations, way to go. Let's see what we got this week. I thought highest scoring loser looked promising, and I really thought Tim would have it in the bag. But lowest scoring starter, so lowest scoring player in a starting lineup. Wade, I'm sorry that Bijan was not eligible for this last week. I actually don't even know if he was the lowest scoring starter. I assume he was. There was probably a 0 or a negative defense out there somewhere. Anyway, that's all the fun stuff. That's everything wrapped up. So let's get into the games this week. As I discussed, a lot of games on paper that don't look all that close, but we all know it's fantasy football, and things are close all the time. Sorry about the Verizon ad, no free plugs for work. Let's go ahead and close that out. This ad makes this webpage look like dog shit. Sorry, that really irritated me for some reason. Anyway. So I'll just start with myself against Charlie. I'm gonna save Tim and Andrew for last, just because they're probably the most interesting and fun to talk about. But I pulled off the win against John last week. Charlie Oh yeah, he had that super close. Oh, I should have gone back and looked because I'm pretty sure that it's just in history of this league, I'm pretty sure that Charlie and Andrew are separated by like 2 points total um in their matchup history. It's insane. But Charlie sneaks it out, or sorry, Andrew snuck it out with what 0.44 points. Literally a 0 yard reception for George Kittle. And that game is Charlie's to take. So a brutal loss, but he's been taking a couple of those this year. So we'll see if he can bounce back from this one. But after all the running back trades, Charlie hilariously enough ended up with the best of them last week, which was Kenneth Walker. Charlie's big struggle this week is he's got 2 Seahawks, which at times can be great. Unfortunately, they're playing a good Browns defense, who did just get torched a little bit by who the fuck did they play? Who did the Browns play in that game? It was awesome. Is it the Colts? Damn. My bad, guys. We're doing this live. Who the fuck did the Browns play? Am I an idiot? It was the Colts. Okay. They did just get lit up a little bit by the Colts. Sorry about that. Sorry about that break. But overall, I think that's more of a letdown spot after the 49ers game than anything. And I do think that defense is legit and here to stay. And Charlie's got 2 people playing him as quarterback and his number 1 option at running back, which I think is going to be to his detriment a lot this week. Luckily, he does have some solid options in other places to pick up some of the slack. Gus Edwards playing against the Cardinals. Any running back against the Cardinals is, probably locked in. If Justin Fields plays, which right now he's doubtful, and I don't think he's gonna play. Him against the Chargers defense is always a good matchup. And then Josh Palmer also against the Bears defense, kind of the reverse there. May not be bad to sneak in, but I think he's questionable as well. And I don't really know how you start him over DeAndre Hopkins, George Pickens. Maybe you stick him in the flex, and I don't know. Even Rachaad White against the Bills. The Bills defense is struggling right now. A lot of injuries piling up, and they are very vulnerable to get run on. So keep an eye on Rachaad White to have a decent week, especially coming off of the short week for the Bills defense. On my side, I'm not in love with a ton of matchups. Obviously, Justin Herbert against the Bears is a dream, a dream matchup, and much in the same way that Deontay Foreman, if I decide to start him, I'm still not sold yet. I'm thinking about starting him over Aaron Jones, especially if Aaron Jones stays limited in practice. But him against the Chargers defense, I love that. And Aaron Jones is kind of hard to trust until the Packers kind of figure their shit out. Either way, that's not going to be the focus of my team. Obviously, it's going to be McCaffrey and Kupp. Just 2 whites hanging out, doing their thing. I do love the Christian Kirk matchup against Pittsburgh, though. That is making my wee tingle a little bit. The only thing I don't like here is that I can't really find a way to sneak Nico Collins against the Panthers into this lineup. But I can live with that. Like I said, on paper, there's not a ton of competition here, but Charlie outscored me last week. He's outscored me a couple times this season. If you were looking at head to head, can you count on it consistently? No. If you asked me to bet 9 times out of 10, I would pick myself to win this matchup. But George Pickens is liable to have a big game every now and then. DeAndre Hopkins is certainly capable. Rachaad White against the Bills, I think, can do some damage. I do think he's going to struggle with Geno and Kenneth playing against the Browns, though, and I think that's going to be the difference, and I think that's what's going to allow me to take the victory. Moving on now, we'll go ahead and knock out Cameron and Ashley. Cameron coming off of a monster week from Patrick Mahomes, who now gets a Denver's defense. So after putting up 425 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 30 yards on the ground against the Chargers, he gets to do God knows what to the Broncos defense, which is scary. And also Isaiah Pacheco gets to play that defense. Oh, Kendrick Bourne against Miami. I don't even hate that. Cameron really just kind of pulling it together after losing Justin Jefferson, and it's something you love to see, especially with Mark Andrews kind of returning to form. 63 yards, 2 touchdowns, 20 points last week. A couple weeks ago against Cleveland, same thing. So if the Ravens are humming, and Obviously, that's going to go through Mark Andrews, and I do think the Ravens have kind of figured it out. I don't think that was a flash in the pan. I think they finally kind of settled into what they're going to be this season. And if that's the case, then Mark Andrews is going to be a problem for a lot of people. Cameron's real issue here is he doesn't have that big punch that he had from Justin Jefferson. He's kind of relying on Patrick Mahomes to be that, and he hasn't been that this year. But against Denver, he absolutely can be. The Joe Mixon against the 49ers matchup is, scary on paper, but the 49ers have been struggling, the last couple games. So even that I don't hate, and I do like the Bengals to play the 49ers tough. I think the 49ers figure it out this week against a good team, but I like to play them tough. Going over to Ashley, Dak Prescott is obviously tough to trust consistently. Last week he was QB1, but it was a pretty down week for quarterbacks. 24.88. I think that's closer to his ceiling than anything else. Sorry, last week when was on a bye. That was 2 weeks ago. 272 yards and a touchdown, and one on the ground against a pretty bad Chargers defense. Not that the Rams are anything to write home about, but they're not the Chargers. They are a much better defense than the Chargers. I mean, I have as many guys, but it's a much better run defense. I'll say that. Adam Thielen against the Derek Stingley-less Texans, who have been a little bit stingy for wide receivers. But Thielen's just a PPR machine. Bryce Young doesn't have time to throw the ball more than 15 yards, and Adam Thielen crushes, intermediate 8 to 15 yard routes. So, he's just gobbling balls, just gobbling them all up. I like him to have about what he's been doing, which is 23, 22 points. That's what he does this year. Cole Kmet against the Chargers. What did he do with Tyson Bagent last week? Nothing. Jack diddly shit. But also Ashley refuses to start Kyle Pitts, who, last week he kind of, for a tight end, he still had a pretty good week. Like, I don't know how much more you can ask for than 47 yards on 3 catches. Like, that's what a tight end does. But the 2 weeks before that, 12.3, 12.2 points. Finally found the end zone. So we'll see if she starts to trust him again. I personally would just run it out there and hope for the best. I mean, hell, tight end, you're looking for a ceiling anyway. But she does get DeAndre Swift against a Commanders defense who they haven't really looked as strong as they can, but he's probably the most consistent player easily on her team. Just pretty much a walking 10 points. It'd be nice if you could get those 1 yard touchdowns, but you got Jalen Hurts there. Jonathan Taylor kind of had his breakout game last week against that Cleveland defense we were talking about. 75 yards on the ground, 45 through the air, a touchdown. There's reports that Zach Moss is now injured and may not play or may have a reduced carries, reduced snaps this week. So I love Jonathan Taylor. Had him for 2 years. He's my best friend. I wish him nothing but the best. And then Saquon, what's going on with Saquon? Is he hurt again? Yes, but no. Last week against the Commanders, 77 yards. Who did I just talk about playing the Commanders? Oh, DeAndre Swift. Duh. 77 yards, 41 through the air, had a touchdown. He fumbled, but whatever. Saquon is Saquon. The week 1, he kind of struggled. Obviously, he missed the 3 games due to the ankle injury. Every other game he's played in, he's been really solid. Close to 100 yards in week 6 and well over in the other 2 games. Now this game, as far as I talked about, obviously Ashley being at 2-5, Cameron at 5-2. Cameron not having Justin Jefferson, Devon Achane, any of those guys, and lacking that real punch is gonna hold him back. I think he's got a lot of guys that can score consistently, but I don't think he's got one that can take him over the top. And I do think Ashley has 4 different people that could do that, between Thielen, Swift, Jonathan Taylor, and Saquon. I do actually like her to win this week. I think Cameron at this point is kind of just holding on for dear life until he can get a couple of these guys back, maybe sneak into the playoffs. And then, when you got your dudes, fuck it, make a run, man. But I do think Ashley tends to take it this week. I didn't even talk about Chris Godwin against the Bills secondary that is just mangled. So, keep an eye out there for tomorrow night as well. Or I guess tonight. This video will probably come out on Thursday, right? Hell yeah, it's 11 p.m. on Wednesday, so yeah, it's definitely coming out. Trevor and Wade. Another game between Trevor at 1-6, Jesus Christ, and Wade at 4-3. Was obviously our first place kind of leader in the clubhouse for a while. Has dropped 3 straight since then. Trevor has lost 5 straight. So a very movable force against a very stoppable object happening here. Oh, it's because he had to pick up a kicker. Okay, sorry. Trevor's lineup was really fucked up, but it's because Dustin Hopkins isn't in there yet. Yeah, so I mean, technically Wade is projected to win this by 3 points. Obviously, we had Bijan Gate last week where he had a carry for 3 yards after not being listed on the injury report and not suffering an injury in game. Nobody really knows what the fuck is going on. They said a headache. Sure, I guess, maybe. So that was really fucking weird. Jalen Hurts continues to just poach touchdowns on the ground. So he's just a walking 20-point machine. And Puka Nacua. Let's talk about Puka fucking Nacua. 8 receptions, 12 targets, 154 yards. The week before, Cup had a very similar stat line. So I don't know if Stafford is just like alternating games between them. I don't know if game plan if they're just double teaming one and then saying, well, that didn't work, let's go double team the other, and then that doesn't work. So I don't know what you do at this point. But Puka, just an absolutely monster game. Didn't find the end zone, but 154 points, 9 receptions. What more can you ask for? I guess a touchdown would be exactly what more you could ask for. Darren Waller finally decided to show up this season. 98 yards and a touchdown. It looks like Tyrod Taylor recognizes that Darren Waller is a athletic freak, and maybe you should throw him the ball. I didn't realize the Jets were last against opposing tight ends this year. That is shocking and jarring, and I'm appalled actually. So hey, maybe Darren Waller pops the fuck off this week because he'll be the only open option. Trevor, dude, I don't even know how to talk about your team. Like, just looking at the names, I feel like you should be 7-0, and you're not. Yeah, dude, I don't get it. Jared Goff, obviously, he's been kind of rotating, Tua, Jared, Trevor Lawrence is in the mix for a little while. Josh Jacobs, and it's funny because I see Josh Jacobs at Detroit and I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna go for like 35, and that's just not the case at all. Like, Josh Jacobs kind of stinks this year, and the Lions have an incredible run defense, so fuck me, right? Travis Etienne also getting he does get a pretty favorable matchup in the Steelers. I also have to get out of my head that the Steelers have a good defense. They don't. They have TJ Watt, who's good. They have Mika Fitzpatrick, who's good, but like, they don't have a great defense. They're number 20 against opposing running backs right now. Like, Chandler, remember, everybody remind me, Lions defense good, Steelers defense bad, Bills defense bad, Chiefs defense good. It's fucked up, dude. Keenan Allen gets the Bears. He should have 45 points. Jamar Chase gets the 49ers. Defense good, but I still like the Bengals to play the 49ers tough, and I think Jamar Chase will get his there. I don't think he's a guy you ever got to worry about getting locked down too much. I do think he struggled last week. Am I incorrect in that? No, he just had a very average game, which was 80 yards and 11 points. So picking a winner. I didn't even talk about Jordan Addison, who went just absolutely ballistic on Wade's bench last week. 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. He gets the start this week. Who is he replacing? Devontae Smith, good call. James Cook, kind of had a coming out party. 56 yards on the ground, 46 through the air, a touchdown, 17 points. So he had a really solid week. once again not getting the start. Thank God you have Alexander Madison though. Devontae Adams, remember Chandler, Lions defense, good. Yeah, are they starting? Is fucking Brian Hoyer starting again? I don't care. The Raiders suck. Like, it doesn't matter. I was gonna talk about the Adams versus Jacobs matchup, but like the Raiders aren't scoring touchdowns, so it doesn't really fucking matter. So that's just irrelevant. They'll cancel each other out. They either both score a touchdown or neither will score a touchdown, and I lean more towards neither. I think the Raiders probably get into the red zone or on the positive side of the 50 3 times. Daniel Carlson misses 2 kicks and Brian Hoyer throws a pick 6. Sorry, that's just a breakdown of the Monday night game that you're all gonna love. Picking a winner, Trevor, and it's just because Keenan Allen's playing the Bears, and I think he's gonna have 40 points. I don't think Puka's gonna have a repeat of last week. Not to say he's gonna have a bad week, but I think this week, especially against Dallas, you get a little more. Stafford spreads the ball out a little more, fucking hopefully. And I don't see Jordan Addison doing what he did last week again. Once again, he could have a solid week, but he will get. I assume he's going to get covered by Jair Alexander. So, but yeah, I'm going to go with Trevor. Finally getting off the mat, putting Wade down a little bit more. And what could be an interesting final stretch for him after spending the first, was it 4 weeks in first place? I guess it wasn't that long because I was up there for a minute. I think Cameron popped up there for a second. So, still very interesting. John and Riley. Yeah, this matchup is something on paper for sure. It is. Jahmyr Gibbs looked good. He had a late 20-yard touchdown run that looked really nice. 23.1 points. He got the ball. What was his touches? 11 carries and sorry, maybe he was in the shower and dropped a speaker and it sounded loud and scary, so I want to go check on her. Jahmyr Gibbs, yeah, 20 touches, and did a lot with those. 116 yards and a touchdown total. So it's nice to see that they're using their first round pick. That's really cool. Dameon Pierce gets the Panthers, so I like that matchup a lot. Garrett Wilson gets the Giants. I like that matchup a lot. Rashee Rice gets the Broncos. I like that matchup a lot. Dallas Goedert, who scared the fuck out of me last week, 77 yards and a touchdown. He gets the Commanders, which sounds like I like that matchup, but honestly, to me, that sounds like they're just gonna run the ball. Which I'd say that. What did he do? They've already played this year. What did he do? 25 yards. Great. Zay Flowers. The Ravens, talked about that and then being legit, and now they get the Cardinals, which for the Ravens I do think means we're probably going to get a heavy dose of running the ball, but obviously some opportunities there in the secondary for Lamar Jackson to prove that he's a passer, which he did last week, and I think he may go out there and try to do it again, which I like Zay Flowers. He's a good player. We did get reports that Raheem Mostert did not practice today. Something's tweaked with his ankle. That'd be crazy. Jeff Wilson. Let me see. Let me read this. What's the real problem? Is Jeff Wilson. Yeah, great. Yeah, I mean, we really won't know till tomorrow. See if he practiced or not. See if it was just like a maintenance day. But Austin Eckler getting the Bears is really exciting for Wade. Sorry, I had to get that out of my fucking brain. It's really exciting for Raleigh. I'm so sorry that you just had to hear that, Wade. Holy shit. Really exciting for Raleigh, especially after he had 45 yards and 1 catch for 1 yard. Am I reading that correctly? I think I am. Yikes. He gets the bad Bears defense. And he's got no injury designation this week. I think he's fully practicing. Yep, practice fully on Wednesday, so he should be good to go for the Chargers kind of get right week. Stephon Diggs is just Stephon Diggs, dude. He's insane. He's crazy. Even with the Bills are on their worst stretch that I've seen in the good Josh Allen era. these last 3 games, and he's gone 20, 15, and 14.8. So like he's Stephon Diggs is recession proof. That's exactly what he is. He is Josh Allen recession proof. AJ Brown, however, is not recession proof. Now he's had a dominating 5 weeks, but so the Eagles as a whole. 137 and a tutter last week, 131 2 weeks ago, 127 3 weeks ago, 175 and 2 tuds in week 4. AJ Brown's incredible. So yeah, I don't even really talk about these two that much just because they're so good. Dalton Kincaid, one to keep an eye on, kind of. I mean, just like, what does tight end really do here? Oh, dude, this whole time I was talking about Zay Flowers, and I forgot that Lamar Jackson is just chilling on the other side for Riley. So damn. I'm sorry, John. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Riley here as the winner. Big shock, I know. We're all gonna have to deal with Riley in first place for, a couple more weeks. I'm sorry. Game of the week. Andrew versus, I should have been paying attention to who I think the lowest scoring starter is going to be. Who does Charlie have? No, I think they'll all do okay. George Pickens is sneaky in there, just because he could like not catch a ball. Ooh, Chris Olave is a good guess. Jordan Love could fucking suck, but he's playing the Vikings, so yeah, I'm sorry, spoiler, I didn't even talk about that game yet. Ooh, Joe Mixon against the 49ers is a good pick. Miles Sanders, just because he's Miles Sanders. Obviously Bijan's fucking headache, I guess, could do it. Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams, I talked about. I don't like either one of them this week. Yeah, there's a couple good options. Anyway, I'm not gonna make an official prediction. There's too many to keep up with. Andrew and Tim in the game of the week projected 114 to 116. The highest projected scoring game overall. Not the highest individual team projections. That would be your boy. Which we all know how important projections are. 114 to 116. Tim obviously has Josh Allen, who is going through a big slump that I talked about with Stephon Diggs. No, is he though? Yeah, I forget Josh Allen's recession proof. So I forget even when they suck, he usually scores a rushing touchdown. Yeah, no, he's good. He's been great ever since week 1 against the Jets. He had 13 against the Giants 2 weeks ago, but like 24, 27, 36, 21, 23. Like, I don't know what more you want from Josh Allen. Maybe to win a game. That would be cool. Tim is having to turn to Kareem Hunt, which I talked about, losing Jerome Ford. But this seems like the Browns have just been plug and play with whatever running back they can get. I mean, they have the best, one of, if not the best, O-lines in the league. He did not practice Wednesday. He is also a little banged up, but probably because he hasn't played in like 8 months. Breece Hall, he was off last week, right? Is that why I forgot about him? Yeah, that's exactly why I forgot about him. Since he got fully ramped up, obviously in the game that I had him against the Broncos, 26.9. Against Philly, he had 39 yards and a touchdown, 54 through the air. Like, he's just a weapon. He's going to get touches. The Giants defense stinks. He's probably going to have an 80-yard touchdown that's going to be fucking awesome, and I'm going to be really upset until Cooper Kupp has 50 receptions. I forgot. I don't think Tyreek Hill practiced today either. Was held out of Wednesday's practice with a hip injury. Yeah, he's probably fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that's maintenance, and he gets New England, who does have a decent secondary. They lost Christian Gonzalez, the first round pick. I don't think he was keeping up with Tyreek Hill anyway. But Bill Belichick does love to double team and take away your best weapon. And I mean, just point A, in week 2 when they played, he had 40 yards. Salvaged the day with a touchdown, but he only had 40 yards. So I do actually kind of like Jalen Waddle to maybe have a big week this week. Amon-Ra and Laporta against the Raiders. Jesus Christ. Dude, the Raiders are about to get fucking creamed. And then Mike Evans against a banged up Buffalo. Dude, I love these matchups. Outside of Tyreek Hill, Tim, I love your matchups this week. And Tyreek Hill's good enough where it might not fucking matter. Going on to the other side for Andrew. Jordan Love against Minnesota. Sure, is Minnesota secondary bad? Yeah. But so is Jordan Love. I don't think this is a week you turn back your trust in Joe Burrow against the 49ers. Fuck, but maybe you have to, because Jordan Love is not good. Even against a bad Viking secondary, I don't. Here's the problem. If you start Jordan Love and he gets 2 points and Joe Burrow has 30 on your bench, you're like, I'm a fucking idiot because I started Jordan Love over Joe Burrow. If the opposite happens, if you start Joe Burrow and he gets 2 points and Jordan Love lights it up on your bench, like, you can fucking live with that. Like, why would you ever start Jordan Love over Joe Burrow? Like, there's only downside if you start Jordan Love. I'm just gonna give you that, Andrew. Yeah, the Tony Pollard and Alvin Kamara, they're there. Kamara had a nice week last week, 62 yards on the ground, 91 through the air, 23.3 points. He gets a Colts defense this week, which I don't even know how they're doing. Bad, apparently. DJ Moore against the Chargers is very interesting. If Tyson Bagent is serviceable again, I think DJ Moore could be in line for a big week. Actually, I think he dropped, like, just straight up dropped 2 touchdowns this week. Well, I know he had the one where he stepped out of bounds on the end around. I'm pretty sure he just dropped another wide open one in the end zone. So he really had 2 more opportunities for touchdowns that he kind of squandered. So I think DJ Moore could be in line for a pretty decent week. So could Calvin Ridley against a bad Steelers defense. I've talked about that a little bit with Christian Kirk, starting for my team. Travis Kelce against the Broncos, dude. Holy shit. Ugh. So last week against the Chargers, he had 179 yards and a touchdown. Oh, they went Denver, Chargers, Denver? What the fuck? I forgot they played 2 weeks ago. That's so ugly. Yeah, I mean, he had 124 yards when they played 2 weeks ago. I don't see why he's not doing that again. Yeah, I totally forgot. All this time I've talked about the Chiefs playing the Broncos, totally forgetting that they played 2 weeks ago, and it was actually ugly as shit, and the only person that did anything was Travis Kelce. I think Mahomes had a bad game. I'm not going to go look at the stats to remind myself, but everybody, if you're screaming about it and thinking about it, yeah, I just realized that they played very recently. Sorry, my brain is fried. Yeah, I love a lot of these matchups. This game's gonna be high scoring all around, and I really don't know who's gonna win. I think Travis Kelce is probably gonna be the difference maker here, but damn, but you have Laporta playing the Raiders on the other side. The Raiders stink. They stink out loud. Decent against tight ends though. Fuck, I don't know. I mean, if you start, I don't want to talk into anything, Andrew, but I will say, just optics wise, I think if Joe Burrow was sitting at the top of this lineup, I think I would have a little more faith picking you. Having said that, I'm gonna go with Tim either way, assuming that Joe Burrow's in the starting lineup before the games kick off. I'm still gonna pick Tim. This is gonna be a close game, and I think it's gonna be really fun. And the fact that it bleeds into Monday night is, I'm so excited for it, because my game's over on Sunday, so I just get to watch this unfold. Ooh, with Amon-Ra and Laporta go. Ooh, yeah. Let's set the stage. Monday night showdown. All right, that's your preview, everybody. Thanks for joining. Good luck this week.